everybody. Last time I showed you how to make an album base using the Keepsake memory insert dies. At the end of the video I showed you one I was working on and I was asked if I'd show how to make some of the inside pages. So in this video that's exactly what I'm going to do. I've got 4 different page layouts to show you. Again, I'm using the Mocha card from Creative Expressions, which is 220 GSM, and I've printed out just on some thin card some papers from Nitwit's DigiKits from the Woof collection. You can see the little bones on this. Okay, so I'm just going to get ready. I'll see you soon. The first page I'm going to show you is just a simple pocket page. As you can see, you can put in your photos, tags, anything you want inside these pockets. Now this page is really easy, and all you need is this inner die. With this inner die, I've cut one piece of Mocha card, 2 pieces of pattern paper the same. Those are going to be your top bits. If you've got a directional paper, make sure you cut one this way and one this way, otherwise it will be upside down. How do I know? Because I've done it. Then I've chosen one non-directional paper for the bottom. You really want this one to be a non-directional one because you're going to flip one of them over to save some paper. So the first thing we're going to do is go to the back. Now I like my front and back to be a similar thing. So I'm taking my paper, the one I've got 2 of, and I'm just going to attach it to my base. So I've got some tape here just so it sticks straight away, but I'm taking some glue up to the edge so this sticks down. Okay. So there's one. And the second one. So now I have my 2 base pieces down. It's time now to start doing the pockets, and they're really easy. So first of all, I'm going to take my non-directional piece and my cutter, and I'm going to cut off using the straight edge here at 2 1/4. And then I'm going to flip my paper, use the long edge again, and do exactly the same at 2 1/4. This is actually waste, but if you wanted to keep it, you could always use it to do a band across the middle, and you've got that curve so it'll match perfectly, and you've got the pierced edge there. Okay, so the next thing you're going to do, take your glue, make sure you get up to the edge, especially around those decorative bits, and I'm going to stick it onto my Mocha card. And again, the second piece. Now I'm sticking it onto the Mocha card just to give it strength, because when you're going to be putting your tags in and out, the thin decorative paper might tear. So the 220 Mocha card just gives it some extra strength. I'm going to bring back my trimmer. So I cut the paper at 2 1/8. So now I'm going to do it at 2 1/4, and that's going to give me a little mocha edge. Again, I flip it over so I can't actually see. 2 1/4 and cut. And again, I've got a comb. I'm just going to trim a little tiny bit more off. Better. And these are going to make my pockets. So now you see why you don't want wording or anything like that, because then you'd have to cut out 2. So to make these into the pockets, I'm just going to take my glue and just take it around the edge. And because we used the die, it's going to fit perfectly over. And that mocha card just gives me that extra little bit of an edge for protection. Again, on the other side, around the edge, dropped a bit, and on. Now these tags have been cut using the Lisa Horton dies. Now these are great because you get your base tag, but you also get a nice little fancy scalloped top to them. So I've just cut it out of some white linen card, and the great thing about cutting the decorative panels, I can get 2 out of this and plenty of room there then. So this is the waste bit to cut my tops for my tags, so it'll all tie in without having to print off any extras or anything. And there we have it. So now I can fill these up with as many tags as I want. So the front and the back have been done with the pockets. So there are, we've got 2 pages done already. So we've got that one done. Let's move on to the second page. Now this time, I've already made one, as you can see. We're just going to make a flap using some magnets. And this is really easy to do. And then you can decorate the front as well if you want. You can add more pockets, bands, whatever you want. But I'll just show you how to do the basic first. So to make this, so for each page, you need 1 piece of A4 printed and 1 of the inners again, and 2 magnets. Okay. Now I'm making both of mine same, so I managed to get the 2 fronts out of the 1 sheet, and I printed 2 of the bones. So first thing I did, I scored my paper in half and made sure it was a nice crease. Now I'm going to take my die, and what I want is to not cross the top edge. So I'm just going to lean in and come right up to that cutting edge. Now I did put some tape on it, so hopefully it's picked it up. Yep. Just going to stick it down. Now remember again to do 1 facing left to 1 facing right, otherwise you'll have 1 flap going up and 1 going down, which is fine as well. I have made a book like that. Okay, so as you can see, I can still see that cutting edge. So I'm just going to cut it out. I'm using my Platinum 6, so you don't need a big machine. And we have our piece of paper which folds up and down. So now I'm just going to add some magnets. So I'm going to pop some tape down, put my magnet on, and whilst I'm here I'm just going to cover the front. Again, taking the glue up to the edge, because you're going to be handling this quite a bit, so you want to make sure it's stuck right up to the edge. Okay, so I'm bringing in my other paper, lining it up at the bottom. Now if you've left too big a gap at the top when you were cutting your opening piece, you might find this catches. Not a problem, just trim it off. Now I can feel the magnet around there, so I'm just going to pop some tape down, and the way I line it up, I just drop it down. So now I'm going to take the tape runner, take some glue, especially around the magnet and around the edge. Bring in my book and center it. So now I've got a page which is really spacious for photos, but then doubles up for loads more. So come back for the next part and we'll do the center. For the center, we're going to make an extra pocket which is going to be flipping here using the smaller edge of our base die. Okay. So to make this center, what you're going to cut is one large piece of the base just beyond the first score line, because we're going to trim it off in a second. One piece which comes up to that second line, and one up to that first score line. So this big one is going to stick onto our page to hide all our workings. Now if you cut it on the score line, you'll find when it comes to open up your book, it'll catch. So what you actually want to do is go up to the score line and just a fraction further in. Just a tiny bit further in than the score line. And then when that goes on here, that little extra bit won't catch. Then, with the short one, you're going to trim it on that second score line. And again, this is going to go on to hide your gubbins. So if you cut it on the first score line, it's going to catch. So cut it just a little bit further in. Okay, so I've scored down the score line. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to tuck this behind my larger piece. So I'm going to add some tape just so it catches for the video. But I want some strength, I want it to stay there, so I'm just going to add some glue. So I'm going to tuck it and line it up and stick it down. So now I've got a flap. You could leave it like that, but we're going to add this little piece here. We're just going to go down the side, down the long edge, and down the short edge. So again, we're making another pocket. So I line it up. And because I cut it shy, it's not going to catch as I open it. Okay. So while that's drying, I'm not going to put it into the book quite yet. I'm going to give it a second. So while I'm doing that, I'm going to start decorating the inside of my book. So I'm just going to put this base one down. Being careful which way because it's got wording. Okay, now I'm not going to put this side on because it's actually going to be on this. Got my finger caught around the edge again. And these are from the smaller decorative dies. So the wording's wrong there, so I'm going to put it here. And my second one. So now I've got a choice. I can stick it straight down and just have that flap. I can glue here and have a side pocket, or I can glue down here, across the bottom and up, and I can have a top pocket, which I think I will do this time. So I'm just going to add some tape just down here. I'm going to run my glue round the edge. So I'm leaving this space empty for my tag. I'm going to go down the bottom and up the edge. Just going to clear my nozzle. It's better. Let's put a little extra down there. So again, line up this decorative edge and place it down. Clear off any glue. So now, in the middle of my book, I've got these extra flaps now. Lots of decorative paper, lots of space for photos, but also room for some tags. Now the only thing this time is the back of the tags will be visible when you flip over. So this time, again using my Lisa Horton dies, I've cut the base and the lid, But then I've gone back and cut the base out of some decorative paper and decorated the black back so that it matches in. So now, when I pop them in and I flip over, it all ties in. But remember, this time I've also got this extra one which hasn't quite dried yet, so I can put something extra in there. So there we are, we've got our pocket, we've got our flipping pages, and our center with that extra bit, which still needs time to dry. Okay, I'll be back with the next set. So here we are, we've reached now the final page, because the back was the pocket pages I showed you at the start. Now to start this page, we're going to do a waterfall effect. So I've put down my patterned paper ready. I didn't think you'd want to watch me do that again. So to make the waterfall effect, what you're going to do is take your main die and you're going to cut the shorter edge just beyond the second score line, so the middle one. And you're going to do that 4 times. And then you're going to cut every one on that second score line. So I've done these 3. I'll show you how I do mine. So there's the second score line we're going to cut. So I've got a little bit extra, so I'm going to fold that, and take my trimmer, put it in so that it catches on that folded bit. This is really good if you've got like black cards and you can't see the score lines. You don't need to faff with a pencil or anything. Just fold it over and it'll catch on the edge of your trimmer. And then I'm going to fold it over. Now I forgot to bring my score tool, but it'll be fine. Okay, so I've done that on all 4 of them. And because we're going to do a waterfall, I'm actually going to train my fold both ways. So each of these now has got this 1/2 inch extra. And that's going to be really handy for us to line it all up. Because what we're going to do is on the front, we're going to attach some tape down the side. And then I'm just going to add some glue. Because I think this page will be played with quite a bit. So you want it to be nice and strong. I'm going to take it back, bring in my book, and I'm going to line that fold just in from the score of my book. If I take it right up to that score line, again, it's going to catch when I open it. Okay. So I'm going to hold it down for a second, and you've got your first page of your waterfall. So I'm going to bring in my second one and do exactly the same. On the front side, put some tape, add some glue, just get some more glue out, there we are. And this time, when I fold it back, I'm actually going to line it up with the edge of the previous one. Hold it down so that glue and tape stick. And you can see the start of the waterfall. Okay. So again, exactly the same. Tape on the front, add some glue, fold it back, line it up, and we've got our third one. Now the last one is slightly different. You can do it exactly the same, but then you had that big brown mocha piece sticking there, and I wanted to hide that. So what I'm actually going to do is turn it back on itself, and I'm going to stick it like that. So this time I'm putting tape on the back of the extra piece. Add in the glue. And I'm going to stick it on top of that third one. And that way I still got that nice beveled edge, but I'm also seeing more of the decorative paper when I open it up. So now it's just a case of deciding if I want that design or this design on the front and back. So what I've done, I've taken the inside decorative piece, which fits onto here, cut 4 in one paper, 4 in the other, and we're just going to attach it to our piece. Now I'm going to put the dotted one on the reverse. So rub off my double-sided. So probably getting bored now of watching me tape up and stick down, especially here because there's 8 pieces. But I managed to get all the flaps out of one piece of the mocha card. So although it looks quite card intensive, it isn't. Although I did use quite a bit of the decorative paper, I think it's worth it when you see what it looks like at the end. So number 3. And the last one. So you can start to see what it looks like when it's all folded up. Now if I hadn't tucked that one in the other way, you'd have the big extra brown bit there, which I didn't like the look of. But if you want to make it easy yourself, go ahead and do all 4 the same. So now I'm just going to decorate the front of every flap. I did like this pattern. It's almost done. Two more to go. And the last piece. And there we have it. The entire album has been decorated. So we've got our cover, our 2 pocket pages, room for our tags. As Lowly's put some small ones in. We've got our big flaps, our central piece, a waterfall, and more pockets. I'm not going to put that grey there, it tones in too much, so I'll choose some of the other ones. It's got a nice mixture of large, small, the blue, red. Let's swap that one out. Let's put some red in there. And the back. Well, I hope you enjoyed. I hope you understand what I did. As I said, I'm still new to the videos, but hopefully that tells you how to make the basic book. Obviously now you can go back, add embellishments, more tags, anything you want. Thanks for watching.